Ashtavakra was born to a man of extreme arrogance. While his mother was carrying him, she would listen to Hindu scripture with great rapture. Due to this, her son-to-be appeared to be very wise in understanding of scripture, even while in the womb. He would rouse and move when he heard spiritual texts being discussed, and when his father spoke wrongly of a particular writing of the Vedas, he squirmed in a way that was not comfortable for his mother, which expressed to his father that he was wrong. This enraged this man of arrogance, and he cursed him while he was still just a fetus, which made him to be born deformed and crooked, which is what Ashtavakra means, broken in 8 places. His father did not put energy of love and light towards his son. He went about shut inside himself, locked in his cage of mind, like a man that was of great airs and pride and egotistical ways. One day, Ashtavakra's father was challenged in a debate for great philosophers. His father lost the debate, and because of this was immersed underwater by his opponent. Ashtavakra did not know this about his father, as he was very young at the time, and he had always thought another man he lived with was his father. Ashtavakra was not to be dampened in spirit by what took place on the outside, be it good or bad, however, as he remained inward in his looking from a very young age, and within him grew a great fire that burned to know himself beyond the form, that was so very uncomely and hard to bear. He went about his day with decrepitude and hunched over, unable to pull his body along easily. Yet he managed to get by with great efforts. He did not let his thoughts sink into feeling sorry for himself, for he had a long journey to go within, and he needed his strength for this alone. He sought solace with his mother. She was to raise him with love and joy, though he was not a baby that she expected. So she took him to her heart in love as any mother would. She sorrowed for this boy, however, that was so bent over and crippled. Sometimes she would find him alone, looking up at the sky in wonder. Other times she would find him sitting under the spreading trees in the wooded yard, with his eyes closed in deep meditation. She also would see him look out over the heavens, or set his eyes on nothing, and they would look hollow and empty. This in some ways worried her, but she let it go, for this boy needed to find comfort somewhere. He was not to be taken in by the flock of boys she saw playing in the streets with straight legs, leaping and shouting about in glee while kicking a rock or throwing a stick, or whatever youngsters do that gives them pleasure in the way of moving and roaming about. She tried not to worry about any of this, for she felt in her heart this boy was unusual in a spiritual way, and he would come through this misery of form somehow. One day, Ashtavakra was in the forest. He heard a voice. It said, "Come near, child." And he went near to where the voice emanated. He found himself near a fountain that grew high and left sprays of water on his face and form. He went closer and felt the water cooling as it was, dripping down his cheeks and falling on his shoulders and on down to his feet, where the water sunk into the earth. With this came another voice so very soft, and he had to strain to hear it, but he did hear it. It said, "My child, you are born weak and not sturdy. Do not be upset by this, because you are to come out of it if you stay in your heart and stay calm and quiet. You will be a sage of great clear understanding." The boy was not sure what to think of this. He did not say anything, but looked about at the beauty of the water falling in sprays about his awkward, twisted form. Then he went back home and said to his mother, "Mother, I heard a voice today that said I was to be a sage." His mother said, "My dear boy, you must be hearing the voice of the wind. This happens sometimes in the woods. It is not anything to take as real. Now get ready for bed, and I will come tuck you in." So he went to bed and fell asleep promptly after such a long day. He fell into a deep dream in which he went to the water to look at the waves. When he arrived there, he felt a great swell of a wave come forward, and he saw in the water his father's face. It was in great distress and horror. He said, "Father, what do you need?" His father said, "Son, I have lost myself here in the waves and am sinking fast. I will drown and die if you do not help me." Ashtavakra went into the water immediately and pulled his father from the ocean with all of his might, as if he was made of strong bones and muscle. And he pulled him out and set him on the shore. Then Ashtavakra took his father's hands and said, "Father, I am so sad that you are lost like this. I am so happy to see your face and hear your voice now. I want so much to tell you something. Can you hear it?" And his father said, "Yes. I want to tell you that I know I am not well in body, but I am very well in my soul." And his father looked at him with tears of joy swelling in his eyes. When he woke up from the dream, he felt there was something missing that he did not know. He did not know who truly his father was. When he did come to find out the man he was living with was indeed not his father, and heard the true story of his father, he went to the great King Janak and sought out the man that had challenged his father in a debate and had banished him to the river to be drowned. To be led into the king's quarters, Ashtavakra showed great powers of intellect and understanding of the non-dual texts. Then his request to confront this man he sought out was granted. Ashtavakra defeated this man easily with his bright, swift intellect and easy way of coming forward with the answers. Ashtavakra's father was set free due to this winning, and he came to see his son as a great soul of light and wisdom. And due to this, his father's love and reverence for his son, he asked him to go and bathe in the sacred water so the curse could be removed. Ashtavakra took his form into the sacred river and went down deep where he could not breathe, and went into a deep meditation. When he came out of it, he was completely new in body. He walked out of the river and walked straight as any man that was healthy. He was broad-shouldered and upright in his gait. He walked in a beautiful, fluid manner with a clear mind and heart. It felt very unusual to have a form that moved well and easily, but this truly mattered not to him, because he knew he was eternally beyond form. His consciousness abided in deep, unshakable stillness. He moved on to his house that he lived and said, "I am home." And his mother came to greet him with great open eyes and immense surprise and said, "My son, what happened? You are well and in full form and strength." Ashtavakra said, "Yes. I am very well, mother, and within eternal peace." His mother said, "My boy, how very joyful for you. I am so very happy that you are here in perfection of health and spirit." His father stood by in happiness that his son was with him. and that his form had been restored, and that he radiated such deep peace within. Ashtavakra continued on to speak with great eloquence and power to the non-dual perfection of the pure soul. He did not use one non-essential word in his writings that were to the point, and yet so very majestic and beautiful in the way of conveying the purity and non-dual nature of the self. He was a great soul indeed, and by his example rose above the handicaps of body and mind, to be a great light to humanity.